What's up, BBT? I'm going to take you through a trade on SQ using the stock trading simulator. And what I want to talk about is what to do when you're in a trade and the stock becomes range bound. So let's take a look at SQ here on the daily and just talk about how we would plan to set this up, plan for this trade at the open. So what I like here on SQ is you can kind of see, this range here that it has set on the daily. So I like this range. I like that we just kind of like hung out in it. We had a couple false, false breakup, false breakdown. And now in the pre-market, you can see here, I've got the level set at 103.81. You can see that we're near it, right, in the pre-market. So I like this level to play off of. What I'm looking for is either a bounce off of this level back into the range or a loss of this level for a trend downward. So let's switch this over to the 5 and get this going. So I'm just going to hit go on this. And as we open, we push down into this level. Had I grabbed it or had a limit order there, I could have like got into it immediately, right? But you can see that, it is pushing, but it is struggling a bit. So what I see here is we've got this sort of area that was set during the pre-market where the stock is just kind of like hanging out in. And so I'm looking at this area and I'm seeing it as rejection right now, right? We even rejected the top of it. So we're rejecting this entire range. So if it gives me a pullback to here and I'm able to take an entry at this level, I would enter here and then I would take at least a partial here, right? Because this is definitely showing rejection, rejection area, possible resistance. So if it allows me to, I can get in if it pulls back. So we'll just wait and see if it gives me that. If not, I could play it for a breakout of the top of this range. But I don't really want to chase it in here. As you can see, it's just really kind of chopping around, right? So we're just kind of stuck in this area. We're not getting really any smooth moves up or down. So we'll just wait and see if it comes back. If it comes back, I will consider buying it at the level. Okay, so we pulled back. I'm going to buy here. I definitely want a partial as we get close to 106. It's kind of rejecting. Yeah, it's really having a hard time here. So I'm going to pause this for a second and just talk through this for a minute. So what you can do, so you can see that the stock's become range bound, right? It's very choppy this morning. We've entered somewhat near our level. So I know that if we lose this level, then I'm done. Like there's no reason for me to be in this anymore. But do I really want to sit through all of this junk? I can. If I get an entry close enough to here, I could sit through all this junk and hope for it to, pop through here and just, trend upward for the day. Or now that it has set this intraday range, right, like this, which most stocks will set an intraday range. It's just that they might, it might take all day to do it, right? So it might wave throughout the whole day and then you might get the range set later in the day. But for something this choppy at the open, we're basically getting a range that's being set right away in the morning. So now what I'm looking for is if I enter here, I can hold or I can wait and I can wait for it to break this intraday range that it has now set, which is also the bottom of this, right? So I could wait for the break of this at least, and then I could take a partial up here, and then I could hope for the break of that for a ride for the rest of the day. So let's just take this off. So there's definitely two ways to play this. I'm gonna hit play here, and I don't like this very much, so I'm just gonna get out. And now I'm going to wait. So we're going to wait for that the range break that I was talking about. So what I really want to see is probably a break and a hold of this whole dollar level at 106. You could wait, for the break of this entire thing. It's completely up to you. There's a lot of different ranges that you can play, right? So you play this one or you can play this down here. I personally prefer the higher time frame range because I know how to play them. I know what my risk is and I know what my risk tolerance is. But if you want to wait for the intraday range to set up, you can. So I'm just waiting to see if it breaks. It's trying. It's definitely trying. So we got up to 106. It rejected it again. I want to see it break it and like hold above it before I enter into this. You can see that it's definitely pushing a trend. We've got, some increased volume on that push up, but we did get a rejection. So I'm not 100% convinced yet that we're breaking this level to the top side. But we do have this higher time frame daily support here, so I do like it for a long still until we lose this level. All right, now we're breaking. All right, so I'm going to enter here for a long position. Your stop loss, can be up to you. It could be just below the top part of this range, right? If it loses the range, then you're just going to wait for it to come back and break it again. or you could have it all the way at the bottom. It's kind of whatever you feel most comfortable with. So we've got that. And now, we're entering toward sort of the top side of this range here, and it's showed resistance in the pre-market. So I want to sell some here. And then I would just set my stop at break even. So now we're pushing, and Square has an ATR of like I think it's like $10. So we've got room to move, right? Especially if our low of the day is around 103, then we have until maybe 113 to get to. So we're just climbing now. We've broke all of these ranges. We've broke the intraday range, the pre-market range. We're holding above the higher time frame level, and 110, a decade level can always, might always show resistance. So just gonna sell some of those. And then now you can wait for a full ATR. So you could see if it gets up to 113. We could just speed this up and see what would happen for the fun of it. And we definitely got up there. And look, at a full ATR for the day, we've shown resistance. At this point, I'm just gonna get all out. And now I'm flat on it. Made some dollars and we're good to go. So yeah, that's what you can do. If a stock starts to set a range around your level and you just don't want to sit through it, just let it set the range and take a new range break, right? Either above or below the higher time frame level. So hopefully that was useful. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, Megan at BearBullTraders.com, and check out the stock trading simulator when you have a chance. All right, catch you guys later. Peace.